Hello viewers, well, it's that day. A new console has been sort of announced, shall we say, last night. Always an exciting time. Bit of a shame we didn't see the console, of course, but I just wanted to have a bit of a chat about it, give my feedback to you guys on what I saw, and you guys can give me your feedback and impressions as well. Firstly, I just wanted to talk a bit about my passion in gaming. My passion in gaming is, well, all my life really. I've had many consoles, and you'll see the range of consoles and games behind me. That's the tip of the iceberg of the collection. I've been very passionate about the development of video games and the technology, and I've followed it for many years. And I think with Sony, I wanted to give you guys a bit of background as I see it with Sony. I mean, Sony are a company which came into the market in 1994 in Japan, and they took gaming a huge step forward. Gaming probably wouldn't be where it is today without Sony making that big leap and pushing the technological gap. You know, they were coming into the market probably around 92 to be an add-on for the Super Nintendo, then decided they could go it alone, and they knew they could create something that was better than the 3DO and the Jaguar on the market at the time. When we first saw, the first thing we saw actually was a Ridge Racer was shown in 93 as an arcade game, absolutely blew us away in Edge magazine, and at the time they also showed the dinosaur, the legendary dinosaur. We saw the dinosaur head at first, and you can see that here, and of course we eventually saw the Ridge Racer game itself, a game which absolutely blew us away. I can't tell you how much of an impact Ridge Racer had on the gaming community when it came out. People look at it today and they see it as just some arcade game, but it was way more than that. It was a defining moment in video game history, and it really showed where 3D graphics were going to go in the future. You know, Sega at the time, Nintendo, they just couldn't keep up. But it wasn't just about the game, it was about a console that was easy to program for, and with a great control pad as well. You know, at the time, the Super Nintendo was probably the best controller on the market. They came forward, they took the Super Nintendo pad, put little bits on it, the extra buttons and everything else, and the evolution of that was a revolution in control. Of course, in the next few years, Nintendo came out with the N64. They added one analog stick, and so in 97, Sony redesigned their controller. Well, I say redesigned, they had the option of adding on the additional sticks. And it stayed like that through PS2, which was added the sensitivity to the buttons, and then PS3, which added the wireless as well. Now, the console, really, I was disappointed with PS3. I was disappointed they hadn't redesigned the controller, because the games had moved on a long way at the time. And, just firstly with the controller, to see the same controller with the touchscreen on, not even reconfiguring the trigger sticks, the triggers, should I say, at the moment, it just seems lazy. It seems like they've lost the evolution, even the revolution that got Sony there in the first place. Now, if we look at the console itself, the PlayStation was easy to make games for. They even had the Euros, which was a blue one, where you could make your own home indie games. With PS2, it became hugely complex to make games, and PS3, even worse. They lost the secret of their success. So in PS4, they're now explaining that the architecture will be easier to develop for, and that will save costs on development. Development costs are going to be huge on this new generation of games, and lots of publishers are going to be struggling to meet the demands of players in making games that really do showcase the full potential of the new systems that we're going to be seeing. So at the moment we have the new share button on there. I think the share button's interesting. I'd like to see the concept in action first. I mean, from a personal perspective, I can share my content with you guys on video form, hopefully. That will be great. It might help me what I do and help YouTubers with what they do in terms of getting their content out there. The blue light, very nice. The touchscreen, I'm sure we'll find a use for it. It's going to be handy for something, but it's not a deal breaker. As for the games that were on display, and I should point out as well, I think the Vita streaming is handy if you're into that, but I don't have a Vita right now, and for me, I'm either playing games or I'm doing something else. I prefer to play on the main TV. I think I should also point out that the streaming feature, lots of people were, really going on about it like it's a deal breaker. For me, I can download a game and play a live arcade game or something while I'm doing it. It's not something that's a deal breaker for me in buying a console. Nice ideas. The future should include these features, and these aren't redefining what we have in video gaming terms. They're things we expect. But what we also expect is incredible graphics and new bespoke, new ideas that use the physics systems and the processing power that we're going to have on these systems. And they showed a couple of demonstrations of those in action. The games themselves, I think this is where the big problem is. When we saw the original PlayStation, we saw Ridge Racer, we saw demos, whatever. It was a defining moment. It was an incredible time. It blew our minds. You wanted to go last night and you wanted to see Sony bring out a couple of games that made you go, oh my God, that's the best thing I've ever seen. I'm buying a PlayStation 4 day one. But instead we saw stuff that, yeah, it looks good. It looks good. Yeah, really good. Yeah, Killzone, amazing. You know, look at those lighting effects. There's more polygons and everything else. But there wasn't really anything there that we couldn't have done on the current console, really, in terms of if they had to convert it down, you know, there's nothing new there. But even in terms of graphics, the only thing that really hit me was Deep Down by Capcom. That demo was head and shoulders above anything else we saw. So we had guys coming on stage. We had Squaresoft saying an announcement. They will make games for PlayStation. Brilliant. We knew that anyway. Didn't need to come on stage. We saw a screen for Diablo 3. That's not really news to us. It all seemed quite rushed. It didn't really seem like they had much to show, and they didn't really have anything there that was really going to blow you away. Rather than 10 announcements, why don't we see 3 games that really blow us away? That's what I really want to see from a console announcement. I want that excitement of a new console. This is what we're going to be playing for the next 10 years. But Deep Down, cool. Drive Club, obviously, racing channel, racing games. I've got to mention it. Drive Club. It's like Alta Vista, isn't it? We've had Alta Vista. You know, we've had incredible looking car models. You know, that's really nice. I must have used it for half an hour. Had a spin around a few cars. We had it 2 years ago, or 18 months ago. Now we're going to have it on PS4. You know, that's nice. First person, you can walk around your car, you can get in it, you can smell the leather inside. Lovely. That's really nice. The actual fact to me is all the connectivity in the world, walking around your car. I'm a driver. I just want to feel what the handling is like. I want to know what PS4 is going to bring to the physics. I want to know what PS4 is going to bring to the environments and everything else. And if not, give me the most impressive graphic demonstration I've ever seen that shows a little bit of that, shows a bit of suspension, shows how it works. But they didn't do any of that. And the actual driving moment seemed a bit sedate. The background seemed like they had a quarter of the amount of work that actually gone into the car models. So it seems like there's still a lot to do there. It showed the potential we want to see. But I think ultimately we're going to get to E3 in a few months' time, and it's going to be here's the PS4 as a console and here's Gran Turismo 6, and then we start the next 3 years waiting for Gran Turismo 6 to be completed. I don't think it will take that long, but you never know, do you? I mean, Gran Turismo was lunacy how long it actually took to come out, and since then only one game in the entire life of the PlayStation 3. Let's hope we'll see more from Gran Turismo in the future. So we've got some regular titles which we know are going to be announced at E3. Is it going to be enough for Sony? Is this the big title? Has it blown you guys away? I think that's what I really want to know. When you look at these titles here and you see these demos, you know, what is your feedback? And I always like to hear that from you guys as well. Now, I do see people comparing to PCs quite often. I don't think that's a fair comparison. PCs cost thousands of pounds. A console is a one small purchase. And if you work out what that console does, I think that they're very good for the money. I think if you want to spend an extra £400 a year or whatever it costs for a new PC and graphics card every few years, then obviously you're going to have better resolution on the same game. But the difference is with consoles is they will always have exclusives you won't have on the PC. And as we get more and more powerful, the difference that you get on the PC will be less. You know, if you look at PS4, be it maximum power, you will have better resolution on the PC, perhaps some more polygon effects. But there's not going to be a huge difference. You're not going to have gameplay that's not possible on the consoles, or you shouldn't. It really depends on the developer. Of course, unfortunately, where simulation fans are concerned, they just don't seem to regard a console as a simulation market, and I think that's a really missed opportunity for a lot of people out there. So, into the future then. PS3, I think it's got nice features, online features, fine, you know, nothing there blew me away. I think that the games look good and predictable, and a couple of demos look spectacular, but they were just demos. There was no Ridge Racer, which I thought was a shame. It would have been nice to have had the most incredible looking Ridge Racer you've ever seen in your life. If only it was a demo that came with a system as well, technical demo, it would have been amazing. But then we look at Microsoft around the corner, and this is the big battle now between Microsoft and Sony for the next 10 years. Who is going to be the better console? And Microsoft, you know, I mentioned a rumor last year about Grid 2 and PGR5. Well, I still believe that PGR5 is out there, and I won't be surprised to see it as a launch title. I think if they do launch something like that, PGR5 could blow everyone's socks off. It has massive potential ahead of it, but we'll just wait and see. May never happen. So the lines are drawn. I think from Sony's point of view, easy to develop, nice and powerful. Obviously, I have my misgivings. I've labelled it the controller. I do find it very irritating. They haven't done something about that. I think it's lazy. I think online, they needed to sort something out online, didn't they? They're very backward online, and they badly need to move forward on that. They have some creative elements in their games. Let's see what can develop there. And with Microsoft, we're going to wait until they eventually have their conference as well. So that's it from me for now on this video. I thought I'd just give you guys some feedback, and as ever, there'll be more from me very soon.